everyone. It's your host, Rebecca, for the Reddit Randos podcast. And I'm here to give you all the fun stories for this episode and every episode. Honestly, I just say that every time. But if you're new here, I'm so glad you've joined us. This has just become a big thing now where people are telling Reddit stories, and I just wanted to be a part of that as well because I thoroughly enjoy I enjoy listening to other people say it. So I thought hey, I'll just be a part of that as well because I just love doing that. And there are some crazy stories out there that are just so juicy with drama, and every little bit of it is entertaining, but yet it is not a part of your own life, so you can sit back and relax and not have to worry about drama in your own life when there's drama right here that we can just talk over. Now, I don't want to give any out there for people that are actually having these problems or struggles in their life or any of this drama that's happened in their life. I do want to put my just want to let people know out there that we are never going to be harsh on these people or to the point where we're bullying them online. We cannot be doing that. Bullying online is so horrible, especially these days with internet being so massively a part of everyone's lives with social media and everything. So I do want to let you know that if you ever find these people on Reddit and it's a story that we're not a big fan of because they chose not to do possibly go in the right direction and things, I do want to put out there, do not bully these people. Keep these stories to yourself as a way of entertainment. But yeah, let's just not go further from there unless it's something we can help people with resources, because that's always great. But we're not always going to cause more harm to these people. That I just had to put out there, but hey, still great stories to go over. Some actual real life struggles that maybe people have never gone through before. And so it's kind of ooh, it's a puzzler. What do you do in this situation when they ask the world of Reddit, hey, what do I do? Or am I being a jerk over this? Or was I wrong? Or am I overreacting? There are some things out there where people honestly don't have anyone else to go to but the internet, which in that case is a little sad just because we need lots of support in our lives. But in that case, there is some really great people who put in some good, opinions and thoughts and resources and word out there for those people to be helped with, and we get to follow along with that. And there are times when if I think there's something, I will put some comments in there as well for something. I mean, you just never know. Every little bit sometimes can help people, whether they understand that they are wrong or whether they need to go get help, or whether the person, maybe they're talking over what they can do to be better supportive for that person, that what maybe they're going through. So either way, sometimes these things can be super hilariously over the top, just full of drama and messiness. And then there's other times where it is something that's a little bit more serious. So we kind of go over a huge variety of them. We want to be kind of more comical about these stories, but there are times when, we kind of go over a serious note, and that's okay because we can't always be silly in life. We gotta face our responsibilities and seriousness sometimes. For those that have been with me for a while, I appreciate everything you guys do when you hit that download button or like and subscribe, as it's great to have some followers along. So we're gonna get right into it then. So sit back and enjoy. Okay, so for our first story, we are going to get into Am I the A-hole? Very common, what we get into a lot. This first one is from 12 days ago, so it is pretty recent. It is titled, Am I the A-hole for refusing to change the chore chart even though my wife works full-time now? I mean, right off the bat, if I was supposed to give an answer to this, I'd probably say, yeah, you are. Because if your wife is now working full-time, and if she probably has more on her chore chart than she usually does, than you do, then you guys should change that up. But let's get into it because it is Reddit, and Reddit always surprises you especially with these titles where they seem very obvious. Something's probably up his sleeve or up their sleeve in turning this around, possibly. So let's get into it. I met my wife in college, and she was soon pregnant after we graduated. We moved in together, and it was decided that she will not look for a job until she gave birth. Our daughter was born, and my wife was a stay-at-home mom for the first 2 years. We had a lot of fights about the chore splitting. I was very overwhelmed coming home and having to do a ton of chores after work and also spend time with our daughter. This has gotten worse as our daughter has gotten older and is a little tornado. The bigger issue was she wouldn't pick up at all, especially in the kitchen. That meant when I would come home, I would clean the kitchen, cook, and then clean the kitchen again. We argued about this a lot, and her stance was she watches our kid all day long so I can clean up more when I get home. In the end, I gave in and we made an official chore chart. Her, watch kid, do laundry and grocery shopping, appointments. Me, dinner, everyday cleaning, which entails wiping. They said whipping. That'd be a little weird. Wiping down counter, picking up toys, sweeping, etc. The list also includes trash, meal prep, and nighttime routine, bath, etc. I'm guessing for the kid. In the summer, my company informed me that I would be let go around Thanksgiving. We talked it over, and my wife found a job and would be the main breadwinner for the time being. I was to watch our daughter, and I am in an online master program. So he's also doing school plus being a stay-at-home dad. Oh, that is tough. I've done that before. I've actually done a job on the nights and weekends, plus also finishing my degree in bachelor's for college, and also having a kid during the day. Then we would switch off when my husband would come home from work during the day. I'd either go night to either classes or work. So let me tell you, it is tough. Okay. At the moment, I am watching our daughter and doing my master's program. I personally have now been having, and I haven't been having any issues, but my wife is. She hates having to come home and do chores and clean up after us. I actually leave it cleaner than what she has had left for me. I put dishes in the dishwasher throughout the day. So basically, he's just so much better with cleaning than she is, all around. That's just how it goes. And she hates it. You can tell she's a person that hates doing chores. There are people out there who don't like doing anything, and they try their best to give it to anyone else, or they just leave it be and think there's nothing that someone else is going to do it for them, which is so weird. But yeah, it definitely happens to people. We have been arguing about this constantly. She thinks it is unfair that she has to do the chores after working all day, and me pointing out that this is literally what I have been doing for the past 2 years and keep pointing at the chore chart. She says she is the breadwinner now, and I shouldn't have to do this. And I pointed out I was the breadwinner before to begin with and did all this. That I am watching our daughter and doing a program. She claims I am being unfair since I refuse to change the chore chart because it is literally what I have done for the 2 years. My friends have opinions on this, so I need an outsider opinion. Okay, so I'm guessing, I don't know. My friend has opinions on this, so I need an outsider opinion. I don't know what that's supposed to mean other than he's not getting the answer he wants from this. I think that you guys really need to sit down and go over each chore. And sometimes, yes, do chores suck to do? Yes. But there are sometimes people that are better doing some chores than others. And maybe you don't want to get stuck with them forever, so you guys can rotate those chores. I will say I get stuck with doing the chores a lot. We don't have a chore chart at home. For us, I get stuck with a lot of them at home. I work from home, so there's times during my breaks I really try and keep up with chores, but there's a lot of times I can't. My house looks as it is, messy, just so you know, messy and lived in, and with toys all over the place and dishes not done, and clothes, laundry baskets left out, even though I got through 3 of them in the last day. So that was like a little moment for me, celebrating. I got through 3 baskets in like one day within an hour. I was just trying to get through them so much. But anyways, we don't have a chore chart, but we do realize when one of us is struggling to do something and we want to help out the other one. Now, would it be better and more probably structured if we did have a chore chart? Absolutely. So I think this couple right here has done very well with coming up with the chore chart. I do think, though, with her being a stay-at-home mom, it's usually the other way around. It's usually flipped. It's usually everyone genuinely thinks that the stay-at-home mom needs to do all the chores, has to do all the work and everything. And that's usually where I would like be, whoop, nope, that is definitely not true. Like, the stay-at-home mom does her job with taking care of the kids, taking care of the home, but that doesn't mean that breadwinner, whoever the breadwinner is and whoever the stay-at-home parent is, that doesn't mean the breadwinner who comes home can't help out either. They have been away from the house all day, yes, doing other jobs, but they still need to come home, just like the stay-at-home parent is doing a full-time job watching kids and taking care of the house. That doesn't mean when you guys are both home, you guys are off, not technically off the clock, but you guys are both off of your day jobs and you are now a co-working couple working out the house together and other chores. So in this case, this is where you guys probably do need to come up with a chore chart that's better fitting. And yeah, I think it's unreasonable for her that she doesn't want it to get changed because she doesn't want to do as much. And you need to really sit her down and be like, hey, I did this. I do think we could change it up. I could help out with this area that you really don't want to do, but I do need you to put in some help with the house to keep up with it. So the consensus here was everybody sucks, or everyone sucks. And I do agree with that. I think everyone does suck. I think more towards the wife than the husband, because the husband has really just kind of let it go and done a lot of the work to help out, but we don't know the full story. She does a lot of like the meal prep, groceries, appointments. That does take time. You are a chauffeur. You have to keep going in and out of the house. You have to make sure everyone gets on time to things, make those appointments. Those take time. Calling the doctor's appointments, going with the insurance. My goodness, those take time during the day, and I have hardly able to do any time to do that when I'm working. So let alone just like trying to do it when you're at home. It's kind of like its own job in itself. But yeah, I just think you guys aren't sitting down and really going over this seriously. You guys are complaining, and you're like, both of you are like, this is unfair. We don't want to do this. We need to work this out better. I agree. But you guys actually need to sit down and talk about it better. And really go over your concerns, or maybe your strengths and weaknesses, maybe your strong points on, you guys don't always have to have a super clean house, but definitely make it a structured thing where you guys both are working together and not getting on each other's cases about it, because you will resent each other because of it. Going on to some comments. The top one, kind of a long one, but we'll go with it. It goes off to say, it's obviously time to rethink the chore chart. So I like that. Rethink it. I like that. And have an actual and honest conversation about responsibilities around your home. Yes, you are now the stay-at-home parent, but caring for a toddler is different than caring for an infant when also postpartum. So what you had time for during the day will also be different. That is very good. That is a very good point on that. She was taking care of an infant baby at the time, and she was postpartum. So if she was nursing or feeding the baby, that takes so much time out of the day. Like, the day goes by so quickly when you are taking care of an infant, because so much of it is just literally holding the baby or making sure the baby is good and comfortable. It's so much different from that to having like the kid then becoming older, because as much as you still need to watch them like a hawk, they are a little bit more independent as they get older, where you can step away and maybe, or be at least across the room to get things done. So yes, very different on that part. And plus, if she's postpartum, she might have been going through some things where it was hard for her to get moving. So I'm still not 100% on the wife's point on this, on making it like the husband's OP's fault on this. I just think you guys are both not understanding each other's time periods when you guys were home. And both are probably stressful. Probably her job that she found is stressful. Maybe it's even more stressful than the job you had before. But that doesn't mean you guys still can't work as a team at home when you guys are together. That comment goes on to say, you are supposed to be a team, like I said. So come up with the best plan for all of you. This just feels like you resent what you needed to do to take care of your family when the baby was born, and not about being fair or doing the same thing. How many hours does she work now? How many did you work? Can you send your child to preschool soon? Could you consider getting some help with the housekeeping? There are solutions to what needs to get done. So find those and not worry about what everyone else was doing before. I totally agree. I mean, as much as, I really do believe in this comment 100%. I really do think that you guys were in different circumstances. And I think it's very much like, you guys, she had an infant when she was a stay-at-home mom compared to you were working full-time and able to help when you got home. And maybe that was your way of like de-stressing as well, was helping out with cleaning, where she just literally wanted to sit down and not have to think about cleaning because she had been holding a colicky baby all day or something like that. Otherwise, she switches and she's now working. Her job is completely different, probably with maybe even different hours or different stipulations on what needs to be done. And it's a little bit stressful, especially since I forgot if she said she finished college and stayed at home 2 years after graduating. So she wasn't even in the work field right after. So that's stressful in itself, getting a full-time, like your first full-time job since graduating, because you've been a stay-at-home mom for 2 years. So you really don't have that experience. So it's a little nerve-wracking starting a new job after that. I honestly think you guys just really need to sit down and talk about, okay, times have changed. Things have changed in our lives. We need to wrap ourselves around these responsibilities in our life and really get through what we can do over them, finding solutions, finding things that we can, be compatible doing together. What is, like I said, we need to meet in the middle where we can help each other out. Another comment was saying, underneath that, yes, a toddler tends to sleep less than an infant. One could argue he has less time to keep up with the housework, especially since he also has schoolwork. That is true. He's also doing school. And I will say, as someone who myself, with my husband at the time working full-time at his job, was also having to kind of pick up taking care of our child, because I was doing schoolwork. So I had to take time whenever I did have free time for him to take care of the child more so I could work on school. I also worked weekends. So that was our time together that I had to sacrifice, because I had to work as much as I could certain evenings and weekends. And then the rest of the time I did night classes and online classes. And then I spent whatever time I could to do classes. And then I took care of my child during the day from birth until my baby was a toddler. I went to school while working, being married. It was a stressful time, but we managed it. Was our house perfect? No, it was so all over the place, but we managed, just because we were both tired and he was working a lot of overtime too. It's just crazy how that goes. Now everyone's just going back about probably, except toddlers and infants, and they probably slept more, they probably slept less, or there was more activity. It doesn't matter. You guys were in totally two different situations. So you guys, the only right answer to this was the first one, was that you just need to rethink it. You need to sit down and be like, okay, this is where we're at in life. What can we do where we can not resent each other for not doing the same equal actions, but that we can still work together and come out happy at the end? Like, that's what you need to do out of this. You guys are getting all built up on chores. And yes, is that something like structured that we need to have? But it doesn't mean you need to like lose your marriage over it or get very stressed and I guess I don't know, just tangle up your marriage and being resentful because of it. This, like I said, this was 12 days ago. It looks like there has not been any update on it. So I do hope, OP, that you guys have sat down and just been able to talk over it. And OP's wife, I hope you also, I know it's unfair and you don't want to do these chores, but I do hope you realize that your husband has put a lot of time and effort to do it when he was working. And now that he's at home and also doing his master's or whatever degree he's doing online, that you can also step up after you get home and do the same thing for him as he did for you. Everyone needs to step up here and just be there for the other half of their the other half of their life, which is their family or their spouse, and there to help each other, not see what's fair. There is never going to be a fair or equal level of each other in a marriage. If anything, both of you guys should be putting more than 100% into it. There should be, or at one point, one's going to be less and the other one needs to step up because they need to help and support their partner. That's all I'm saying. We all go through it. We all make mistakes in not realizing that sooner. And we just all need to step up in our marriages to be there for our spouse. So, okay, sorry, that took a turn. Let's get to the next story. The next story I have is is also from Am I the A-hole? It's the other subreddit that is AITAH, and it's from 1 month ago, and it's titled, Am I the A-hole for telling my husband I don't care his mom cried, or that if I made him upset? Let's get into it. Okay. My husband blames me for making his mother cry because I am sick of her coming to my house, my home, with her creep of a husband, my husband's stepdad. This man texted his granddaughter, teen at the time, for a sexy picture. Ooh, that is, whoa, not good. But this was 4 years ago. Mother-in-law separated for a little, but then got back with him in secret. So she never told anyone that they got back together, which is a little bit of an issue if everyone else has a problem with that past. Got him sober after 2 years, and then this year she's been trying to involve him in mine and my husband's lives because none of her other children really speak to her since they found out, especially the son whose child was affected. Yeah, no, I don't blame them. Especially since she's doing it in secret. That's just, you gotta be open with that. I would just say, yeah, no, you have to be open with that, Grandma, because, I mean, this is a man who is creeping people out because of something that could go really wrong, that you don't, I don't know. This is just bad territory. This is happening. So I don't blame him. I get people can change, but it's not going to make it easy. You can't force others to rethink or forgive this person if they don't truly want to. You can't force that. You have to just be willing to wait. That's how it's going to have to go. Okay, so it goes on. I don't blame them. Her excuse has always been, he was on drugs, or he treats me so amazing. He's sober now and he is upset by his actions. I genuinely don't give a crap. He is what he is, and I refuse to let that type of person around my child. But because he has previously visited the home and I was cordial, she thought all was well. Absolutely not. Thanksgiving was my final straw. She made a comment that everyone needs to get over it, and that she deserves to be happy. Mind you, she was invited to her other son's house for the holiday, but because she refused to leave the creep home, she made my husband feel bad so we also wouldn't go to my brother-in-law. When Christmas came around, I put my foot down and said that man is not allowed in my home. So the 24th and the 25th, with my husband ignored his mom's calls. The 26th, he goes to her house and tells her I didn't want them there and that they are no longer welcome. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what the husband's point of view on this is, because I'm wondering if he doesn't like cutting contact with her. She has apparently started crying, or she apparently starts crying, saying the same 3 excuses of why she forgave him and that I was a liar and two-faced. And her crying fit upset my husband. I told him, I'm sorry, no one wants to see their mom cry, especially when they're older and you're an adult watching your older adult parent cry. It's very, very unsettling. You don't want that. It's either awkward or you're so sad by it, because it's just so sad to see your parent at an age like that bawling their eyes out. Like, no, I don't blame him for falling apart on that, but he's got to realize what the bigger picture is, and sometimes no one's going to be happy in this scenario. What's best for everyone. Okay. I told him, okay, so basically, and her crying fit upset my husband. I told him I genuinely do not understand why he is so upset. His mom is worried about herself and her feelings. I can't feel bad for her, so because of that, I lack empathy, and I'm the terrible person. To be clear, my husband does not excuse his stepdad's behavior whatsoever, but he can look past it because he got sober for my mother-in-law. Wait. Oh, the stepdad got sober for his mother-in-law, or I guess her mother-in-law. And because, like my husband, loves to remind me I'd go to jail if he tried that crap, to which I reply, you wouldn't have to if you don't give him an opportunity. Oh, saying if he repeated asking for a sexy picture from especially a grandkid, because they have children, that he would go to jail if he tried that crap. And that's when she replied, you wouldn't have to if you give him that opportunity. So she's just literally saying, why are we not avoiding this from happening again? Why are we even letting this be a possible opportunity again? Because we can't trust this man. I will say, if you don't trust this man, and like I said, you can't force someone to forgive you for what you've done. You really can't. This stepdad needs to come out. Like, I don't know if he's even said that he's sorry for all that. We are only hearing what the mother-in-law is saying. So if we're not getting this from the stepdad himself, I don't know if I could trust it either, because I wouldn't really know. Do you truly apologize and are sorry for this, what you've done? Do you truly believe you're a different, changed man because you've sobered up and resent for what you did? And I don't know. We're only hearing from the mother-in-law, and she's given all those things out saying that, but he's done this and he's done that. He's a better person. Sometimes we're blinded by that, thinking we could change them to be a better person. But if they've always been kind of like that creepy person, and I don't know, it's hard. It's hard for people to trust easily when something like that big has happened to involve young kids. Like granddaughter, like that is where people get very protective. And yeah, I would say Justin would get very protective and would not allow to be near this grandpa. I think he would be the same. I think he'd feel the same as OP right now with this situation. I really think if that ever happened, he would be like, absolutely not. We are not getting around this family or this grandpa, or stepdad, I guess, because we're not going to let this happen again. We're going to control it on our end and not let it happen. Whereas I'm not saying I would let this happen. I would definitely be like, I wish I knew if this guy truly has changed, but we'll never know. And sometimes people don't truly change unless they've really gone through it all and there's not someone enabling them, which I kind of feel like the mother is enabling him. I don't know what to believe right now. I really don't. But I honestly don't trust 100% that this guy truly has changed, or the mother-in-law, because the mother-in-law is passing this off. And I know she loves this guy, but she has to. You can't make everyone happy, especially in a case like this. So if you truly love this man, you have to be okay knowing that your family probably doesn't want to talk to you or be around you because you're with this man. Is that truly what you want? Do you want to be with your family, or do you want to be with this man? And I swear that sucks, but that's the case that you're going to have to get laid with. And you, like I said, can't force someone to forgive. So that's on their own. You can try all your best being like, hey, he's really done this. He really misses you. But no. It's either them or the man. You can't have them all together. They don't want to be with him because of this. And I don't blame them. I really don't blame them, because I wouldn't want to trust him again and walk my children into a trap, possibly. Okay. So my husband's reasons for being upset are: 1, his mom has been through so much. She deserves happiness. Okay. 2, his mom has done everything for him, and none of her kids love her except him. So none of her other children love her. I think they were fine with her. They obviously were okay with her coming over. She didn't want to come because she had to leave her husband at home. And she didn't want to do that. So obviously her children do care for her. They just are not happy with what she's been going through and the excuses she's been making for this man. 3, he never let anything happen to our child, who's a teen now. No, I'd be super worried. 4, he doesn't want his mom dying alone. I don't think anyone wants your parent to die alone, but if she's going to keep making excuses for this man or won't accept the consequences of what he's done to her family, then there's really nothing else you can do about it. It sucks. It really does. And this is the thing. The mom is pouring out every little thing she can on OP's husband because she knows he will fall for it. She knows that I will make him feel so guilty for me being left alone. It sucks. It sucks to say that someone could be manipulative that way, but it does definitely happen out there. And it happens to it happens with parents to children, especially as they get older too. Not even just when they were young, but when they're older as adults too. They play those mind games again, especially if it's not like going the way they want. And they pull on the child that might be more receptive to that, to bend their way than others. And I feel like this OP's husband is definitely falling for it. So she goes on to go with her own list. I personally, reasons for her, being upset, but she's like, I personally, 1, don't give an F. 2, want my child safe over his mom being happy. 3, think his mom deserves the hate because she chose a disgusting man over her family. And 4, never said his mom wasn't welcome, just the creep. So, like we said, even the wife and OP, the OP, and then OP's in-laws, her husband's brothers and sisters, or whoever other kids that the mothers had, they have opened their house for holidays and everything, get-togethers for the mom, just not for her husband. And I think that's great. They are not cutting off contact with her. They are just saying, we accept you. We don't accept or welcome your husband that you've snuck back and gotten back together after everything that's happened. So obviously she's forgiven for that, but not everyone else is going to be so easily forgiven or is going to be easily forgiving or swayed to change back into knowing this guy is going to be okay and dandy to be around the family, especially if you have kids, which is the problem. If it involves a child, that is a huge problem. That is a huge problem, a huge red flag that now you always have to be leery about because you can never know if you can trust this person again. So she basically says, so am I the a-hole? There are some clarifications. She goes, I guess I should have clarified. I know I'm right about setting boundaries. Am I the a-hole for showing up absolutely no empathy or sympathy to my mother-in-law and husband because of my boundaries? That's what my husband is upset about. So the husband is upset because she is showing no empathy or sympathy to the mother-in-law. Okay, so like what the list was done before, that the husband's upset because she's gone through so much because of her husband that she married, the stepdad, that asked for a sexy picture So he's technically wanting whatever sensual, explicit photos from a minor. A minor, guys. A minor. We don't know what... We just said teen. I'm wondering if it's a young teen. Because I don't think... Either way, it would have been weird if it was a grandchild. And I know they're not related, but still... This is the weird thing that happens when that happens. You hear enough things about that happening. It's just not a good thing to be around. You stay away from that as far as possible. You get that person away. Now, this is so hard because the mother-in-law is married to this man who she wants to still keep involved in the family, and no one else wants to be around this guy, which I don't blame. And I don't get why the husband is feeling upset. He doesn't want his mom dying alone. No one wants that. But you got to realize if she's going to be with this man, she's going to have to be like, I can't bring you to things. I'm going to enjoy that time with you. But when I'm around my family, I'm going to have to leave you at home. That's just how it's going to have to be. Okay, so there is a quick update. I'll just go into it. The update says, she's given, I don't know if it says she gave it or the husband gave it. She was given. Okay. She was given an ultimatum. Divorce or therapy. She says, kind of saying, F it. I've suggested therapy a few times for other issues, and he's always said no. But now that his mom is the reason for the arguments, and this is what I hate, we should go because his mom is now a part of it. Yeah, this is turning out into he's a mama's boy. And I feel so bad for OP because he definitely is overlooking the major problem in this issue that's going on with his mother-in-law. Right now, he is just blindly, like he is looking solely at her crying only and saying, oh, I don't want her to be sad. Dude, the reason why she's sad is because her husband that she chose to marry was a creepy perv. And I get it. They got back together after she sobered him up. I don't like the fact that she said, I got him sober. You wanted to change him so bad. Did he want to change himself? None of this matters what you did for him to make him a better person if he doesn't accept it and tries to do it himself. So basically, yeah, she's like, oh, so now the reason that you want to go is because we're having arguments with your mom involved with it. Therapy will just speed divorce along now. Thanks for the advice and help. I hope those personally hurt by situations like this are healing and understand it was not your fault. You deserve peace and happiness. I feel so bad. This is turning into, and I feel like when I hear enough stories about, we got sons that are their mother's person, like just their little sidekick and things, like they're mama boys out there. We have a lot of tendencies where a couple will get divorced because they are so focused on what their mom's needs are over their own family and wives. You have a family now, sir. OP's husband out there talking to you. You have a family now. You have a wife. You have a child who's a teen now. She's a teenager now. And this whole situation happened because of the stepdad wanting a picture from a teenager of one of your nephews or nieces. I'm guessing nieces, but still, nieces, because it was granddaughter. I just want you to know that you need to be more concerned about now your own family and what their concerns are and work that out. She never said she didn't want your mom over. She just said she didn't want the stepdad. And I think that's reasonable for a long time, for a very long time, until they work things out. Or this guy truly shows that he's a different man than he was before. I don't believe just because you got sobered up doesn't mean you still have those actions that you can actions that you can act on. Well, that's just a little weird, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You can't change someone just because you change them from not taking drugs or something. Sometimes that's inner thinking, inner thoughts that are stuck in you. And maybe being drunk or on drugs was amplifying it. Doesn't mean that it wasn't there from the beginning. So I just would be careful. And now if you are going to get a divorce, OP, I would really consider being careful for child custody, that your teenager, if you only have one kid, I pray that he doesn't try and stick it to you by bringing them over constantly to mother-in-law and stepdad to be like, he's fine. See, he's changed. I mean, Lord Almighty, that would be something that just pray to God that he'd watch over them and make sure nothing happens. It's such a weird situation. I'm not saying no one can change. There are so many people that have done terrible things out there that have turned around and really asked for forgiveness and wanted to change their lives to be for the better. I'm not saying that hasn't happened. Just from what I'm reading, though, I'm only reading that mother-in-law has literally said she's changed him. That is not the same thing. That is not the same thing from someone that themselves want to make that change. So we'll get into comments. We don't have any verdict or consensus on this. Top comment is, not the a-hole. Your husband is seriously disregarding the quick grooming his stepdad was attempting at his niece and betraying his brother's family with this point of view. Your mother-in-law is so desperate to not be alone, she'll choose any creep to fill the void instead of starting over. And I bet she's the type of whale, but I love my grandbabies. Sickening. To be honest, I wouldn't look at my husband the same way if this were us. His saying, not my kid, while disregarding the other kids that this could be in the creep's sight. No, forget that. You have a husband and a mother-in-law problem. This is a hill to die on. Signed, a victim of molestation. So this person's gone through a terrible thing themselves. And this is what I'm saying. You want to avoid this problem from happening. You want to avoid, especially this happening, and this is a huge mess. And I do agree that the mother-in-law is so desperate to not be alone. I think just because at their age, they think it's harder to find love out there. And I don't know, maybe she doesn't find someone else, but she's so desperate. She doesn't want to lose someone that does show her kind and love and accepting her at this age. I don't know. This is just not good for her. Not good for her at all. And the husband for being so quick to disregard it. Yes, I agree with that. You have your own family now to consider and know that, do you really want this kind of man around your own child? What if this happened to your child? What would you do? You say that if he ever tried this, he'd go to jail. He didn't go to jail for the first time. What's to say he won't go to jail for the second time? I don't really know what else to tell you there. Okay, so OP did respond saying, "Oh, I am. And I'm sorry it happened to you. I hope you're healing and safe." I'm guessing a lot of people have shared their stories about something very similar like this happening. And this does happen a lot more out there than it should. And I pray for those people out there that have had to deal with this or are dealing with this, that you get out and find help and support and probably therapy, because we could all use therapy these days, whether we've gone through struggles or we're going through struggles or gone through past struggles and have never gotten it. Okay, so that was crazy. We got a couple more. I got a couple more, or a few more, but some of them I have a couple that are from r/niceguys. We know how much we just love those posts about how great they are about women. I tried looking for r/nice girls too, but I mean, it's just, some of them were so mixed reviews. I gotta find like some good ones. Some of them were just kind of weird. But anyways, I bet a bunch of you have known, like, when you are doing dating, and I feel like this happens a lot when people are going on dates, and then they figure out if they want to go on a second date, and, you know, you guys had a fun time, but you're on your side, whatever side you are, male, female, while you're on a date, you don't feel that chemistry, and you kind of be like, you know what, this might be just more of a friend thing, or I'm not feeling this on a romantic level, and how quick the tables have turned on how they just flip a switch on how they react. So that's, you know, here's a couple of them that are just like, whoa, you just have the nerve to say that. So this one I have is from 1 month ago. It is, I'm not even going to say the title because it's part of the text. So these are text messages. A lot of these are. So it first comes out with the guy. The guy says, "Hey, I had a lot of fun last weekend. Was wondering if you were up for something tomorrow. I really enjoyed talking to you, and you're also really gorgeous for someone like you." Sorry, I don't like that saying. "I really enjoyed talking to you, and you're also really gorgeous for someone like you." Like, hello? Why would you say that out loud? Just say you were really gorgeous. "I never expected for us to mesh so nicely." And OP, who texted on her side, and I'm guessing this is a girl, I don't know, but I'm just guessing. So we're just going to go with that for right now. And she goes, "Hi, I had a great time too. You were really good company, but I don't feel anything romantic towards you. I wouldn't mind going out again if you were willing to be only friends." And the guy had to respond, "WTF? What do you mean by that? Or WTF, do you mean by that?" Sorry. It's been a while since I've done acronyms. I'm so old. And he goes on to say, "All I did was stand by the door the whole night. Sorry, I stood by you by the whole night, open doors, take care of the bill. You're telling me you don't want to continue this after getting the most expensive Chardonnay off the effing menu? You're missing out on one of the greatest guys you'll ever meet, and I hope you feel it. I don't go for a bitch like you for no reason. I try to step out of my zone and give someone some time." Okay, this is where I don't like him saying like, "Oh, you're actually really gorgeous for someone like you," and then he goes saying, "I don't go for a bitch like you for no reason. I try to step out of my zone and give someone some time." So he's really making a point that you're not his type, and he wasn't thinking your type was gorgeous, but yet somehow you were, and he got to put that out there. And now he's like, "I don't usually make time for people like you, but I did. So you better be grateful for it." That's what it sounds like. Anyways, it goes on. That's my little tangent right there. It goes on to saying that "I tried to step out of my zone and give someone some time, but my effort was thrown around like nothing. I just don't get why I even try. You'll get yourself with the next man who walks across the street. Will he treat you well? Probably not. But it's not like you care, clearly, because the only thing you care about is our wallets." And she goes to say, "Hey, I don't think it's fair for you to try to play me as a gold digger. You chose the wine. He chose it. And I offered to pay half, to which you told me that my company was enough." He was really trying to play it up to you. "I don't see anything more in this conversation or future relationship after the way you have spoken to me just because I'm not interested. Have a great rest of your life." And of course, he responds. He responds with, "Huh? So you listen to me when it's fancy restaurants and nice drinks, but you couldn't give two craps about my feelings. I just don't get girls like you. What do you think is out there? Because let me tell you, there are no nice, kind, or respectful dudes out there. The moment you wear your heart on your chest, they don't effing care. You can say, 'Have a nice life,' because I will have a nice life. I'll meet a grateful girl who will love, appreciate, and care for me. Nothing comes to unappreciative bitches like you. So you know what? You have a good life. I don't need your luck. Save it for yourself, bitch." Like this, oh my gosh, that wins me. Like, oh my gosh. So, like I said, I was saying, this guy doesn't normally date whatever OP's type or whatever she is. Like, I don't know. I can't even tell you what that is. You know, apparently he was like, you're gorgeous for someone like you. What's that supposed to mean? I don't even like how that, and that was supposed to be a compliment, and I didn't like how that was. So later on when he's like, I took the time, I went out of my comfort zone, and I guess I didn't get what I wanted, and you should have been grateful that I even went on a date with you. And there's no nice people out there. like, no, OP, obviously I know that you don't agree with this. I do know that you know your worth. And yeah, there are a lot of respectful and nice guys out there that actually don't turn the tables like this if you turn them down. There are people out there that are just like, oh, that shucks. It might hurt their feelings, but they're not going to come back and be mean at you. Like, I'm trying to think if I've ever had that happen where someone asked me and I said I wasn't interested. I will say I did have someone who asked me to prom, and I said no, even though he was so sweet. I guess he had a little crush on me, and I totally didn't realize it. He was such a sweet such a sweet kid. But I was dating my now husband at the time, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm dating someone and I'm taking him to the prom, and I'm so sorry. And he was such a sweet guy, and I felt bad. The girl that he actually went with, they dated for a while afterward, and they were so cute, but now she's married to someone else. So yeah, I don't really know what's going with him now. But anyways, yeah, that was like the only time. He was such a sweet guy, and he felt really like, I guess he felt like embarrassed by it, but he didn't snap at me and say, well, I found someone better. Like, and this, granted, this was high school, so of course that was, different. But that's like the only closest I can think when I turned someone down. I did have to like ghost a couple people because they wouldn't get the hint when I kind of turned them down, and they just kept messaging me, and I'm like, okay, you're not getting the hint. What am I supposed to do now? Like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't think I've ever blocked anyone. I just kind of like ignored them. Yeah, there really wasn't a lot to do. I mean, okay, then again, our phones, I don't know if we could block them then. Maybe we could. Maybe I didn't have a phone that did. I don't know. Guys, I'm old, and I didn't have like awesome fancy phones at the time when I was younger, and we were able to have phones. So yeah. And then yeah, my husband and I dated pretty close, like right after I graduated, or as I was graduating. So I wasn't really out there for anyone else. So I really don't have any other dating experience. It's a little crazy, but other than like, lovey-dovey little puppy love high school stuff. I have plenty of those stories. Those were crazy. We're going to go to the next one because I'm rambling on about weird stuff. Okay, our next one is also from Nice Guys, and this is also kind of the same thing. This one also has some things on there that I'm just like, why would you even say that? So, like I said, this is just crazy when people are like this. It goes off to literally say, that date was lovely. I was wondering that if you would want to go out again. I had a really good time and would love to see that smile. Oh, that's sweet. But OP to this one writes back, and I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I'm just going to guess. But basically, they go to say, I had a nice time the other night, and I appreciate you taking the time to meet me and pay for my meal. But I'm not feeling a match romantically, but I genuinely wish you the best for going forward. And the guy goes to reply, are you sure? I have a Weatherspoons voucher, and you are the first woman that I genuinely thought of as more than just a first night stand. So Amy, do you want to little like grimace face, make me the happiest man this Sunday? Like, no, he did not just ask that. So she's like, thanks for the message. I'm like, what do you even say to that? Like, she goes on to say, OP replies, "Thanks for the message. I'm going to be clear that I don't feel the same way, and I'm not interested in meeting up again. I wish you the best, but this isn't something I want to continue." And then she also posts after that, "I'm also not that easy." Yes, I was definitely glad you've put that in there. He responds to that, "Not that easy, are you? Mind you, you were flirting with the server the whole time we were there, you bish. I've had girls better looking than you 100 times this year. It doesn't even matter that I've got a date planned for next week from the someone I went out with on last weekend. You were just going to be the fat, ugly bish all my friends are going to laugh about you. Oh my gosh, about to laugh about. You should be thanking me for giving you the chance to dine with me, whore." I can't believe this guy's crazy. This guy's so crazy. Okay, I think that's really out of line. This is OP responding. "I would not count saying please and thank you to the waiter as flirting. I honestly tried to come across as nice and tried to just end this in a nice and understanding way, but it seems like you can't understand that and just turned to insults and talk about your friends," quotations, friends. "So let me make this clear. Please do not contact me, and I am not interested in pleasuring you or a second date." Ugh, and he goes on to say, calls her a whore again. I don't like that. "I bet when you said I forgot my coat, you went back to get his number." That's just dumb. Honestly, it's dumb bitches like you, which are destroying society. You would rather date the waiter boy, not even a real job, instead of an actual man who works out and likes boobs. F you. What? This doesn't go together. Okay, so he's like, "Oh, I'm an actual man who has a job and works out and likes boobs. And likes boobs. What does that have to do with any of that? That doesn't go together. When you caught get anyone else, don't come crying back to me." I don't know what that means. So, and she should stop replying to these. These are terrible texts to her. She should stop replying. But she goes on again to say, "I honestly don't have time for this. It's pointless. And what I'm saying is obviously not going through your head. And a quotations, actual man who works out is a joke in itself. And I hope no woman is ever naive enough to fall for your trap, you freak. Please do not contact me anymore." Girl, just block him already. This is dumb. He again responds. He responded that last time with hashtag delusional with a crying, laughing face. Like, my gosh, this is where sometimes I would put, like, if this was like contact information that like from Tinder and they had a profile of his picture, and this is where I would, like, if you knew other people around you that was dating this person, I would be like, screenshot these texts, screenshot his face on pictures and be like, "Do not date this man. This guy is messed up. This guy definitely just wants to have a one night stand and will call you everything in the book if you turn him down. This is dumb. This is just, no one should stand for this." Just like if a man turned down a woman, that a woman shouldn't get mad and call him names or attack their physique in any way, because shape or form, because no one deserves that. No one deserves that. No one needs to be called out for whatever characteristics you have, whether they're bad or good, or just because of who you are. They're just trying to make you feel bad. No matter what is true or not, it doesn't matter. It's whatever it is, they don't care. They just want to hurt you. So these women and anyone else who goes through something like this, forget these people. Forget them, block them right away, move on. There are so many better people out there. Do not fall for someone like this, because they will turn the second you turn on, or just turn them down for anything. So, okay, we got one more story. And that last story is from 2 days ago. It is also from r/am I the a-hole or AITAH. And the title is, Am I the a-hole for ending a date after a harmless, in quotations, harmless question? So am I the a-hole for ending a date after a harmless question? What was the question? Everyone's got to know, what is the question? What was the so-called harmless question? And sometimes people say crazy things out there. So I don't know if this is a guy or a girl yet, but sometimes people say some just crazy. They ask the weirdest or the craziest things that really makes you contemplate if this will go to a second date. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so last night, and like I said, this happened very fresh because it was 2 days ago. So last night, I met a guy off the apps for a dinner date. We arrived at the restaurant, exchanged pleasantries, and ordered our drinks and food. About after 5 minutes, he leans over and asks me, oh my God, sorry, I read ahead. He leans over and asks me, "Are you a man?" I was shocked. For context, I am very much a woman. Long hair, curvy, was wearing a cute dress, makeup, the whole deal. However, I'm also about 178 centimeters in height. And I have no idea, because if this is UK... Okay, so this woman is 5 feet and about 5 feet 10 inches. So yeah, she's, she's above average in height for sure, for at least women and possibly the US, maybe an all around. I'm not really for sure. So about 5 feet 10 inches in height. He swore he was not trying to offend me. He says, "You're just so tall for a woman," he said. Still, I felt like I had just been slapped. So I politely excused myself from the table, paid for my drink, canceled my food order, wished him a good rest of the night, and left. At the time, I was upset and convinced the man was an idiot. Now that I've had time to cool down, I'm wondering if I overreacted. His tone wasn't negative or accusatory, and there's nothing wrong with being trans. Am I the a-hole for immediately bailing? Okay, this could go 2 ways. So that was it. It was very short, but I'm like, that is a very interesting question. Like, just for you to be told, like, asked, "Are you a man?" Because, and I don't think, like she said, he didn't say it like in a negative or accusatory. So like maybe he didn't care, but it was just such a curiosity that, curiosity kills the cat. Like seriously, it just literally was killing him to keep it in. He wanted to ask it so much. He was dying inside. I don't know, but that's so crazy. The only reason at the moment he asked was because he was like, "Well, you're so tall for a woman." Women can be tall, and in the dating apps, did it not state what height she was? I don't know if they have that. I just know that they've always put heights in there, or at least maybe people do that on their own. I don't know. I've never had a dating app, so I don't really know what the situation is for that. Yeah, but that's crazy. And you know what? No offense to everything happening now, but there are some goodness gracious trans people out there who can make the other gender that they're trying to look like, they look amazing. Sometimes trans women can put on makeup better than I can. They can make some outfits look better than I am. Sometimes I'm jealous because I'm just like, seriously, how can you pull that off better than me? Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm supposed to be able to, like, this is what was made for me, and somehow you pulled it off better, and I get jealous. Sometimes they pull it off really easily. But no, like, I don't know. Sometimes you can tell. Sometimes you can't tell what gender they are because they really make it look good. So I think that, I'm just going to say that I think of a lot of men, more men than women for sure, but a lot of men, I think, are kind of scared that they're going to end up on a date with a man or a trans trans woman there. Sorry, trying to get this right. I don't say it a lot, so it's not like it's on the tip of my tongue for being able to say that stuff. So, but like seeing a trans woman, and I think they're worried that they're gonna just all of a sudden, all I can think of is white chicks. And when Terry Crews and I forget his name on there, but basically the jerky guy's best friend, and how they both end up in bed together, and it's just hilarious. And then they wake up and they look at each other and scream. This is what I'm picturing when a man is on a date and he's freaking out because he thinks the woman he's on a date with is a trans woman. I don't know. Which is a freaking hilarious scene there. If no one's seen it, please watch White Chicks. It is freaking hilarious. Putting out there an oldie. Well, an oldie for the millennials, I guess, or a good one. Anyways, I would say in her case, her whole question, was she an a-hole for immediately bailing? I kind of think so. She did say he wasn't negative or accusatory. I think he was just curious because she was so tall. Was it a very strange question to ask, and very direct question to ask, just because she was taller than the average woman? Yes, I really do think that was a very direct question. I would have probed a little bit more into, like, why did you think that way? And, you know, like she said, it wasn't like it came out negative or accusatory, but I'm wondering if there was more to it that she could have, like, I don't know. I would have been curious if it was me. I mean, if there's something that you just think that's not going to work out, then you have no one that needs to tell you what to do about that on a date. You can go and leave for whatever reason when something you don't think is going to work out. But for you I think you were shocked by that question so much that you thought that should offend me and I'm going to leave because of that. And I don't know. I don't get easily offended by things. Like, I mean, I've gone through them all. But I honestly think you should have stayed a little bit and finished the date at least. I really do. I think you should have finished the date at least. And just seen it through. Because now you'll never know, if anything, if that guy was being a complete jerk about asking that, or if he really was just, like we said, curiosity kills the cat. He was so curious about it and was wondering, and it wasn't like he was negative about it. So maybe he was okay if you were a trans person, that he just didn't know if you were or not because you didn't put it on your profile, which you don't have to. So I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if he ever reached back out. And if he didn't, then maybe definitely it's not for them. But to me, I don't know. We don't really know the full story. I don't know how he asked it. She says it wasn't accusatory or negative, but we don't know maybe how he said it, what he kind of, he reacted. We'll go into some comments and see if we get maybe any more information. So top comment is, I've never in my life seen a big woman and thought, that's gotta be a man. Usually my first thought is, wow, that's a tall woman, which is true. The first thing he comes out super direct and such a very unique and direct question to ask. That is very strange. I mean, maybe he's like a Sheldon and he's just straight to the point and just pulling out some things here. Someone underneath that said, he just assumed you were a man because you were what, 5'10"? Which, yeah. Someone had said, yeah, I had to go and do the conversion to figure that out. So she's tall, but she's not that tall, which is true. I mean, she's taller than the average woman, but she's not like she's 6 foot or over 6 foot. She's just average, over the average tall, and that's sexy. So, and she said she's got curves. She's 5'10", she's got curves, cute dress, long hair. I mean, girl, you sound good. And he asked if you were a man? Okay, I'm looking into this a little bit more. Maybe it was good you didn't finish this date. I don't know. I don't know. Why would this man ask this? Why would he ask this? Okay, so weird. Okay, so someone said that I'm 6'2". It would still be inappropriate for him to ask me if I'm a man. It would not be inappropriate for him to ask me if I'm a trans woman. I get looks on the street. Height is one of the clues that people have adopted. I haven't been asked if I'm trans, though, because other than height, I'm very clearly not. So this is someone else, not OP, responding to this. Yeah, someone's like, hello, fellow giant. Absolutely would be rude, just like it's rude as heck when I've been asked to leave the women's bathroom. People are insane and clearly can't always tell. Okay. Oh. Okay, so yeah, I would say just by looks, and some women and some men have those facial features or characteristics on their body that don't always match what people think as masculine and feminine. And that is something that, you look at. And being tall, that's just so strange. So like, yeah, sometimes I feel like you have a sharp jawline. Not even that. Men and women can both have that. But sometimes, like, if you have a slender, like, face about that with the face or body build, excuse me, people don't think of that as masculine sometimes. And then if you are like this woman, super tall, might have broader like shoulders or looks in like the face and the body, that can also be people like thinking, oh, they're probably not a woman. But there are plenty of women who are, and men who are all shapes and sizes, and they are completely of that gender or whatever they are to identify as. But this is so strange and so weird. Like, I know first dates are weird, but this is weird. And this is the thing about when you have trans people in there, is that people get confused and mixed up. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying this is where people get mixed up in the brain. And then sometimes that's how you know how they are when they react to things when they're not expecting it, or they think they won't like it and they don't even know. So yeah. Okay. So basically some people were saying that, someone said, let's be real. If a woman asked you, are you trans? You're just so short. You'd probably be more concerned about her being an a-hole than having height preferences. So okay, there, turn the tables, because it could happen also to a woman who's maybe taller and looks at the person she's dating and he's a short guy, and she'd be like, oh, are you trans? You're short. Like, no, you're right. I know he didn't say it accusatory or negative, but something made him want to say it. And sometimes saying that on a first date, asking the date, and who wants to be on a second date with someone who literally just asked if you were the opposite gender? Like, I don't know. OP did respond to that one and said, to be fair, I'm Nordic heritage, but living in a country where the average woman is a good 20 centimeters shorter. I feel like a giant quite often here, but he was the same height as me. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So he wasn't even taller than her, and noticed that she was tall. They were the same height. I wonder if he was more conscious about the height. And there are women out there who are taller than men, and it's fine. That is crazy. Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything else that OP... Oh, here we go. No. Okay, so someone first responded saying, listen, in any context, what he said was rude. Two possibilities. He knew it was rude, and the fact that he pretended it wasn't doesn't change it. His intention was to throw you off guard, affect your self-esteem, negative. Wow. Okay, she's really digging into the number two is he is out of tune with normal social behavior, that he is not a good match for you. I could say that he is out of tune. He's out of tune with normal social behavior. This doesn't make him evil or unredeemable. And when she did say he didn't sound negative or accusatory, it could be just that he is not in tune for social behavior, and that you don't ask that to anyone like right up front. This doesn't make him evil or unredeemable, but he's not a good partner for you right now. Also, he has strange ideas about women's bodies and what he is or isn't normal, and that smells like sexism to me. Either way, you were right to leave. Dating is tough. Continue to prioritize yourself. Grow your own garden. I know, oh, do I know that it can feel so achingly important to find a male partner, but you are already a complete person. Keep enjoying your life as much as you can and only date when you have space in your calendar. OP did respond to that, saying, "Thank you. I really appreciate your response and viewpoint. Sometimes we are conditioned to gloss things over, or to these things over, keep the peace, give second chances, have unending grace for others. But in my experience, trusting your gut and not being afraid to dismiss what doesn't feel right can save a lot of head and heartache," which is very true. So maybe it was good, because maybe this wasn't going to be a good match. I don't know if she was an a-hole. I think she could have at least let the date go on to see where it went from there, and just see if he was like not in tune with social behaviors. And then from there, you can like cross it off saying, okay, you know what? I think this guy needs to wait a little bit, and I'm not the person to be there and help him with that, because I'm not going to date someone. I want someone already in tune with that. I do think it was a little rude to end on a first date like that. But then again, I wasn't there. I don't know the situation, how it all was around you, with him saying stuff like that. So, I mean, it could have felt very different and you just felt off and you wanted to get out. So in that case, I'm going to leave this up in the air saying, I don't think you are the a-hole, but I think everyone sucks here. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Or maybe no a-holes here, because I honestly think we don't know his whole side of the story. And you know what? If you didn't feel comfortable, you can leave. But I think in other ways, if I was there to know what the situation or how the tension was, if you could have stayed a little bit longer to see it out, at least for the first date, and then not contact him again. But then again, I don't know dating apps, guys. I didn't go through all that. I'm so lucky I didn't have to go through that. I think I'd be a mess going through something like that. I'm a person that wants to meet people organically. I definitely know how you can change yourself. I know people how they can change themselves over online. So dating them after, seeing them in their profile and then meeting them in person, it's totally two different things. Like, you put out there what you want people to see, and then you go out in person pretending to be like that for a little bit, or at least I know a majority of people can be, and then later on their walls start coming down and they start becoming who you didn't think they were. So yeah, I'm glad I never had to go through that, because I met my husband very much organically through, I met him through my church. And I knew him through a bunch of people I knew through that church, and who were adjacent towns from where I was. So that was good. So yeah, no, I mean, everything worked out well for me, and I hope it works out well for you all out there too. If you guys are single as a Pringle, going through dating apps or meeting people organically, I would prefer going and meeting people I know you are like, how am I going to meet people if I don't can't really go anywhere? You get involved with something, go through a community event, go through something in your town, go through something I don't know. Like I said, I met my husband through church. Church is a great place to meet people sometimes. It's a good place to get to know people, and sometimes a friend of a friend can be good. I'm not saying you have to go through someone just through that event. I'm just saying you get to know people, grow with them. Sometimes they introduce you to another group, and sometimes you'll find someone there that you match with or kind of hit it off with. So get out there, mingle. Sometimes it might be a long game, but I know people who've gone through dating apps and have met the love of their life and are very happy. So it all depends. Be patient. I know it's going to take a while, but be patient. So here I am putting out dating advice, even though I have never dated outside of my school, or high school, basically, than literally with my husband. So yeah, I have great experience out there. I found a lucky one pretty quickly. So Okay, guys, those are the stories I have for you today, and I hope you enjoyed them. These were kind of, and I don't want to bash on men. I really don't want to bash on men. There are some great men out there that have just done wonderful things for people, and have been great for like their spouses and their families. I will say this episode kind of went towards kind of bashing on them, like, oh, great, you guys are not good. But this could go for anyone out there. So, I mean, but we all know those people. We all know those guys, like men. Am I right? You could say the same thing for women too. So, but this episode was definitely more targeted toward men. And I'm sorry, men. Don't mean to do that. Just know that hopefully you're one of the good ones. And these are just examples, prime examples of what you should not be. If you guys have any suggestions of what subreddits or any other like more targeted themed stories that you want to go over or have me read more, let me know. You can comment here on Instagram on our page, or you can email me at the Reddit Randos podcast at gmail.com. I think it's not the Reddit Randos podcast. It's just the Reddit Randos at gmail.com. Don't listen to me because I can never get it right. But like, subscribe, follow, put a like out there, comment if you'd like, reach out. You can email me. You can ask me anything through those emails. I would love to hear from you guys, but I hope you guys have a rest of a good week, or starting this week, because I do this on Mondays. But whenever you're listening to this, I hope you have a good one. Stay cheery, stay optimistic. We'll get through this winter wherever you are. I'm in the Midwest, so it's a little bit chilly here, and I'm ready for spring. But have a good one. I'll see you next week. Bye.